On the 22nd of November 1981, assembled in the Purnachanda Auditorium were more than 25,000 people, all very excited because it was to be a new dawn, the dawn of the Sai era of re-education of man for the establishment of peace on earth and goodwill among people. As it was said, man had to be unmade and remade in the light of the spirit, because education had led him not far from his earlier instincts. So this educational system itself had to be revamped, and it had to be done by someone like Bhagawan, who had taken avatar to bring back man to the highway of the spirit. And as these people were, as the devotees, the multitude of devotees were sitting excitedly in the Purnachanda Auditorium, Bhagawan came in resplendent white robe as the Chancellor of the university. A notification had been published earlier in the Gazette of the Government of India, which had announced that the Institute of Higher Learning that was to be inaugurated that morning was deemed to be an university. An act of the Parliament had made this possible. It was passed through the Parliament. The chief guest for that day was the Justice of the Supreme Court of India, Sri Y.V. Chandrachud, who was to inaugurate the university, Air Chief Marshal O.P. Mehra, the Governor of Maharashtra, and Chancellor of the 10 universities in that state, who was to officiate as the President of the inaugural function, Srimati Madhuri Ben Shah, the Chairman of the University Grants Commission, had also been invited as a guest, and Sri Anjaya, the Chief Minister of the Government of Andhra Pradesh, who had opened the Sathya Sai College at the campus on his arrival from Hyderabad, and then Dr. V.K. Gokak, the Vice Chancellor of the Sathya Sai University, and Sri K. Chakravarti IAS, the Registrar of the University. Everyone in immaculate white velvet robes of the university came in a procession. The Vice Chancellor and the Registrar wore academic golden tasselled caps. The procession included also the trustees of the Institute of Higher Learning. When Bhagawan gave darshan on the charmingly decorated dais, with highly placed and dedicated votaries of higher education on each side, the entire gathering felt that Bhagawan's announced mission of divinizing mankind was entering on its most vital phase. Bhagawan had declared as early as 1950 that this avatar will play the role of the Satyabodhaka. In fact, Bhagawan had declared about this university in the early 50s itself. Sri Kasturi Garu, who was then in Davangere, as the superintendent of a center of learning, had been asked by Bhagawan to be the chief guest at one of the functions, and Swami had got printed in the invitation Dr. Kasturi, MA, PhD. And when Mr. Kasturi pointed out that he was not a PhD, although he had a number of theses, which he says, which were all which had all not got completed, Swami said, no, you are a PhD. Then one of the elders who was there asked Swami, from which university? Swami said, from Puttaparthi University. So this university, the concept of having a university at Puttaparthi, had been in Swami's grand master plan right from the 50s. So it was 30 years later that the Sathya Sai Institute of High Learning was being inaugurated by Bhagawan. Today, education in human values is provided for school children by thousands of trained gurus. Swami had also initiated the Bal Vikas, the education in human values, and by that time, summer courses were also held for students from not only the Sathya Sai colleges, but students from colleges all over the country. The idea had been to bring in this informal education, to bring in the students, even those from the other colleges, to expose them to the grand traditions and the scriptures of Sanatan Dharma, of Indian culture. Now, with the introduction of the Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, all these would be integrated with the courses itself, and these would become a part of the educational process. In 1971, when Swami presided over the inauguration, when Swami was present and the President of India presided over the inauguration of the Sathya Sai College at Anantapur, he declared that the Sathya Sai University will have to undertake the task of revitalizing the ancient culture of India and to train the rising generation in the path of love and service, humility and self-reliance. This college has become now, as Bhagawan willed, the Anantapur campus of the university. The College of Arts, Science and Commerce at Prashantinilayam, which was started in 1979, had become the Prashantinilayam campus of the university. The Vice Chancellor, Dr. V.K. Gokak, Professor V.K. Gokak, welcoming the distinguished guests, announced that the occasion was specially auspicious since the inculcation of liberalism, humanism and academic values was the plan and purpose of the university that was being inaugurated. Sathya Sai education is integral and aims at the cultivation of the human values. The chief guest, Chief Justice Chandrachud, did something very remarkable on the stage. As he got up to speak, he went and did namaskar to Professor V.K. Gokak, who was the Vice Chancellor. It was then that we got to know that the Chief Justice had been a student of Professor V.K. Gokak earlier, and he was paying his respects to the teacher. What a wonderful way to inaugurate a university. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat yati patratam, patratva dhanamapnoti, dhanat dharmam tatas sukham. That's what they say. Vidya dadati vinayam. The sign of the educated is humility. Education makes you humble. And vinayat yati patratam. This brings deservedness to you. And in fact, the Mr. Y.V. Chandrachud had risen to the position of the Chief Justice of India. There can be no greater sign that his humility had taken him to great heights. And this, of course, is a cause for earning wealth and distributing it for the welfare of mankind. This is what we learned that day. This is the beginning of a new chapter in the history of higher education in India, he said, for it will train men and women of sterling character in the saintly and heroic mold who will be holding in the coming years high position of trust and responsibility. Srimati Madhuri Ben Shah, who was the UGC chairman, said she had become the chairman through the blessings of Bhagawan, and Bhagawan himself had given her the inspiration, strength and courage to notify the institute as a university in a record time of 1 year. She asserted that the university is certain to bring to the field of education in India a shining example of faith, discipline, creativity and hard work, besides devotion to the ideals of truth, goodness and beauty. Sri Anjaya, the Chief Minister, speaking in Urdu, expressed his joy at the establishment of a university which would vitalize the spiritual culture of Bharat. Sri O.P. Mehra, the President, declared that nothing better could have happened than the establishment of this university for the cause of national progress. I am here, he said, to learn how I can make a success of the 10 university in my own state of Maharashtra. Swami then blessed with a divine discourse, which we will see in the next Parayanam session. Swami said, "Make this an ideal university."